Virgo, what is going on with you? Come on in, have a seat, make yourself comfortable. My name's Alan Hill from UnknownTruthTarot.com. Welcome back to another Virgo love reading. In the Virgo reading today, we are going to take a look at the status of the love connection between you and your romantic person of interest here in February 2025. So let's get started here. Let's get one card for what is the mutual point of interest between Virgo and their romantic person of interest. Okay. Make sure nothing else flipped there. Okay, what's going on with you, Virgo? How you been? What's going on with Virgo as it relates to their romantic person of interest and the connection between the two of them? Let's get two more cards for what's going on with Virgo. Okay, gonna make me dig for it, it looks like. What do we got going on here? Something under the surface happening for sure. All right, let's take a look at your person, Virgo. What's going on with them? What's going on with Virgo's romantic person of interest as it relates to Virgo and the connection between them here in February 2025, please? What's going on with Virgo's person in February 2025? Let's get one more. What's going on with Virgo's person, please? Oh, we're taking two at the end here. This one trying to get away. What do we got? All right. On the bottom of the deck, the overall energy of this reading, Six of Swords. This is Aquarius energy of moving forward into calmer waters. It's about leaving the rough, choppy waters of the past behind you and moving forward. It's the card that comes after the Five of Swords, and the Five of Swords is a mentally and psychologically painful situation or event. So at this stage, something painful has already happened, whether that's a big fight or an argument or a betrayal or dealing with someone who has like a winning at all costs kind of a mentality where they don't care what happens as long as they get what they want. Anything kind of like that, something at its core painful. This is about moving away from that pain and having the pain already happened. You can't really control what's already happened in the past. And in this card, you have an implied choice about the future. And the choice is, do I carry the burden that this painful thing caused into my future with me so it continues to weigh me down and hold me back? Or do I carry forward with me the lesson that that painful thing taught me so something like that doesn't happen again? So this is an element of moving away from something painful and into the future, but having that kind of a decision. It's not even really an out in the open decision as much as it's implied. You got to kind of like understand that on your own. And a lot of people carry a burden with them instead of the lesson. Right behind this moving away from something painful, I have the Five of Pentacles. Now, fives are conflict. This is a Taurus energy of abandonment, being cast aside, being left out in the cold, discarded. This is a breakup kind of an energy. Sometimes this is an energy where someone has made you feel like you're not good enough, like you're not worthy in some way. Could be moving away from a painful situation after a breakup. It's looking like that's what we got going on here. I got the King of Pentacles below that. This is either Taurus or Virgo energy. This is usually like a husband kind of an energy. It doesn't always mean like actually legally married husband, like committed boyfriend, person that I'm trying to build a life with or that's building their life around me. It would be that kind of an energy most of the time. And there's some sort of a breakup here and moving away from something painful. That's the gist of what it looks like this reading is going to talk to me about, Virgo. We might have to come back to that more as we go along. This mutual point of interest is shared energy that affects both of you in some way in February 2025, Virgo. Doesn't always affect you both exactly the same way. Sometimes they do this and you feel the consequences of it. Sometimes that's vice versa. Sometimes they say or do something and then this pops up for you or vice versa. But the shared energy affecting you both is the High Priestess. This is she who knows. She sits in front of the veil of consciousness, so she's got access to all the information that you and I as humans don't have access to. She sees everything. She knows everything. Problem with her, she doesn't always tell us everything. Like sometimes there's stuff we're just not meant to know. Sometimes there's stuff we don't need to know until it's time, at which point she clues us in through gut feelings or intuitive hits or just like a dream that has a message in it or seeing like synchronicities or something like that. It's some sort of an intuitive hit where you don't really have the facts on something, but you can feel something here. Now, in a love reading, this can indicate that the connection between the two of you is deeper than just something physical or deeper than just something emotional. One of you could be viewing this as like a really powerful connection that I'm drawn to. Doesn't show up when that's what it is telling me, like the facts of the matter are. This usually shows up like that because probably one of you feels that way. But most of the time, this is someone's intuition talking to them, probably yours. The thing about the intuition is most of the time it's going to tell you something you don't want to hear. It's going to tell you something that you don't want to be true and you don't have the facts to support it. So usually people kind of push their intuition off to the side because they can't prove it. And on top of it, they don't want that to be true. So they try to ignore it. I'm not saying that you've ignored yours. I'm just laying out possibilities here. So I'm going to clarify this and see what else we can find out for you, Virgo. What's going on with this high priestess? What is that? Good grief. What we got here? Okay, on the bottom of the deck underlying this high priestess energy, 7 of Wands. This is Leo energy. Excuse me, it's a defensive energy. This is defending my position on something, defending my stance on something, being willing to fight to protect or defend what's important to me or what I believe in or what I want. It's sometimes an energy of being willing to fight for the connection, but also sometimes an energy of defending against accusations of some kind here. It's a defensive energy for sure, and it's about fighting off oncoming energy. Right behind that is the Lovers. This is the Gemini Major Arcana card. This can indicate a powerful connection between the two of you. I know a lot of people will try to tell you that this means twin flames or soulmates or something like that. That's completely not what the card has ever been about. This card is about the interconnectedness between people. And when you're in a connection with somebody, their decisions are going to affect you and your decisions are going to affect them. There's no way around that. This is also a card that a long time ago, before it was even called the Lovers, it used to be called the Choice. So it represents how the choices affect each other. It can represent a choice about what feels like a really powerful connection to you. It could even represent a choice between lovers here. So we've got some defensive energy here, either fighting for this connection, fighting for what I feel this connection to be, or there's some other choice in the background and we're fighting against that here. Maybe even trying to fight off the feelings that I have. There's some intuitive pull here, though. And I've got the Magician in the background right behind the Lovers here. This is the Mac Daddy Master Manifester of the Tarot deck. It's somebody whose thoughts and actions shape the world around them to be in alignment with what their will desires. He's got all 4 aces on the table in front of him. So he's got all the tools and resources he needs to create whatever he wants. The aces are the ones of the 4 suits, which represents 1111, which is the number of manifesting. This is someone actively either trying to manifest something or someone has manifested a situation where there's a choice about the connection and some defensiveness, or maybe even manifested a spot where we've got a choice between lovers and someone maybe trying to resist against that. I do see like something painful happened, and the 5 of Swords that comes before this is many times a betrayal. I've got a breakup here, and then the King, which is, man, probably this person right behind that. I don't think I went far enough. Right behind that, yeah, I didn't, because here's the Magician. Oh, goodness. Looks like all this might be connected. 2 of Cups. This is it's a connection. It's like a romantic connection, emotional connection, but it's also a 2, and 2s are choices. So this is a choice about the connection, or even a choice about 2 different people here. Got the Ace of Pentacles behind that, new physical, tangible opportunity presenting itself to me. And then the Magician, the person who creates this situation, and then 3 of Cups. Now, this 3 of Cups has got 2 distinct meanings. It could be A, being reunited and celebrating, like getting back together. Or it could be B, third-party love triangle, because there are 3 cups of love in the picture here. And a card here that could either be about balancing it out or someone giving to 2 people in the physical sense. So I'm feeling like there's some defensiveness about having a choice between lovers here. If that's their person being in denial, like denying it, that no, I'm not doing that, but maybe your intuition is screaming at you here. That's what's underlying this High Priestess energy. What actually came out to clarify it: Page of Swords, the Hanged Man, Page of Cups, Queen of Swords. Okay, I've got too many pages here. I'm getting way, way ahead of myself. First card in your person's energy is their most important card, and it's the Page of Cups. And I've got the Page of Cups here in the shared energy and the Page of Swords, two like childlike energies, not fully developed, not fully matured energies, wrapped around the Hanged Man, like progress halted, things aren't moving. Hanged Man is sometimes like a person who's not looking at their role in the situation, and they're playing the blame game. They're playing like the helpless victim role. That seems like a childlike thing to do here, is what this is telling me. This Page of Swords is sometimes just news messages and communicating. When it is communicating, sometimes it's like half-cocked communication. It's like something that comes out wrong or that wasn't thought through all the way first, and it's like premature or immature type communication. But most of the time for me, this is an energy of someone who's trying to learn something or trying to figure something out. So it can represent like snooping around, spying on somebody, asking questions, trying to figure out what the heck's going on here. It can represent some other person saw something and told you about it. It could represent that your intuition started screaming at you and your spidey senses were tingling. So now this is starting to look for information about that. Maybe not finding anything. This could also indicate communication stops between the two of you, and you're kind of left to just kind of feel your way through it. I've got that Page of Cups on the other side of the Hanged Man, so it could be the thing that stopped this was lovey-dovey communications going somewhere else. I do have two communication cards here. I've got the Page of Cups, a communication card in your person's energy, and the Eight of Wands, which is also a communication card. And getting way ahead of myself, I've got the Lovers over here with that Eight of Wands. So this is usually like flirtatious behavior, like lovey-dovey messages, expressing feelings, like early stages of a love offer where we're kind of at the stage of talking about it, but not necessarily doing anything about it. And the final clarifier is the Queen of Swords, Libra energy. This is she who knows the truth. And we're clarifying the High Priestess, she who knows, period. Well, this is a person who has now uncovered facts, usually. She's about speaking the truth and then cutting off the things or the people that aren't in her best interest anymore. She's really smart and has her eyes open and knows what's going on. And she's also very fair. That's why she kind of holds her hand out like that on the card. She's offering someone the chance to speak their truth. Like, tell me your side of the story. And when I've got defensive energy here and this together, this is usually a case of where somebody's asking some questions and I'm wanting you to tell me the truth of the matter, and then I'm getting ducking and dodging and bobbing and weaving and deflecting and nuh-uh, it wasn't me, I didn't do it. That's usually what this represents. But see, she already knows the truth, so the truth that you speak to her had better match the truth she already knows, or she cuts your head off with the sword. So she's about removing people that aren't in the best interest. And a lot of times that is like the severing of a connection after possibly some big argument, some big fight, a breakup happening here is what this looks like to me. Almost like intuition told you something and they played helpless victim, blame game. Nope, not me, probably denied it all. And then looking like somehow truth comes out. And that's probably how we're getting to this painful thing in the breakup. That's the shared energy affecting you both here in February 2025, Virgo. I will come back to this as I go through your energy, because then I'll be able to see more clearly how it applies to you. Might even make it make more sense to me. I'll come back to it again as I go through your person's energy for the same reason. Excuse me, I got to get a drink. Been doing too much talking. Your energy in this connection for February 2025, Virgo. Your first card is always the most important. You got Death. Central to your energy is the Four of Cups. And your final card is the Devil. Very interesting. Death is Scorpio's major arcana card. This card is an ending to something. It's something dying, so it can be reborn again in a different way. This is also some kind of an ending that usually has a very painful transition period attached to the end of it, or a painful transformation process taking place after an ending of some kind. Let's clarify this and see what's going on. Why is death the first card out here in Virgo's energy for February 2025, please? Okay. On the bottom of the deck, 8 of Pentacles. This is Virgo energy. This is a card of work, putting in the work effort, time, effort, and energy on something to get what I want, or being willing to put that kind of work in. I usually get this when it's indicating like wanting to work on something. Maybe wanting to work on the truth. I have the Ace of Swords behind it. This is the sword of truth, the sword of clarity. Maybe wanting to work on getting some clarity here, because I see your High Priestess intuition talking to you, but maybe not necessarily having all the facts. This is the sword you make decisions with. It's the sword you also use to like cut someone out of your life with. It's the sword that the Queen of Swords uses to off with your head kind of a thing. So this could indicate severing of a connection here. Work on the severing, work on the truth. Maybe you don't have the truth. I've got the 5 of Cups. What you do have is some Scorpio energy of sadness and remorse about the past. This is usually negative emotions like sadness, depression, guilt, resentment. You know, it's something negative here. And the real core of what the card is about is whatever you focus on is going to dictate to you what emotions you experience. Here, the person's focused on these 3 cups that have been spilled. The 3 of Cups can represent being together, and now it's spilled. We're not together anymore. There's still 2 upright cups in the background, and that can represent that I still feel this connection. And because I still feel it and I know it's still there, I continue to focus on what I don't have anymore. And I'm feeling that loss. I'm focused on this thing that's missing, and I'm feeling that gap in my life. What's disturbing, though, is the 3 cups being spilled can also represent a third party thing, is what spilled everything between the 2 of you. And the 2 cups that are left in the background, yes, could mean I still feel the connection even though that happened, but it could also represent a choice between 2 different connections or 2 different people looming in the background still. And it could be wanting to work on the truth, or wanting to work on the severing of this, work on closure for it, because maybe I don't have it. When there's 10 of Swords behind it, I know this connection is over here. I'm clarifying death, and I get the 10 of Swords in the mix with that. That is this Gemini energy of a swift, painful ending. Sometimes an ending you don't see coming, which is why the swords are in your back. Sometimes it's an ending in betrayal, getting stabbed in the back. Oh, man. Man, oh, man, oh, man. When I clarify death, I get the Page of Pentacles, Strength, Ace of Cups, 6 of Cups. Page of Pentacles. We got way too many pages. This is 4 pages actually on the table right now. This is news, messages, and communications about some physical, tangible, I can touch it kind of an opportunity, a physical opportunity presenting itself. Communicating about that. It could be that we uncovered some communications going somewhere else that probably shouldn't have been happening. This can also represent a person who has a plan for their future, but it's an early stage plan. It's not a fully developed all the way kind of a plan. Could be even communications about that plan. I've got Strength here, which is a Leo major arcana energy. This is a card that tells me you're going through a very difficult situation right now, and it's probably taking all of your internal strength in order to make it through that. You have the strength to make it through it. You're just going to be forced to dig down inside yourself and find it and tap into it. It can also represent a person who's trying to tame this beast inside themselves. Like there's something that they have this urge or desire or impulse for, and they're trying to rein that piece of themselves in. They're trying to hold themselves back and not let themselves make a mistake of some kind here. So it can be struggling against a piece of yourself trying to contain something here. It could even be part of your person's energy showing up. A lot of times, this whole first column ends up being their baggage showing up on your side because what they have done is affected you so strongly. So it could be that they killed it by communicating about physical opportunities and lovey-dovey stuff and trying to contain themselves and couldn't do that. Like usually in that kind of a context, what this would represent is telling someone, hey, I'm going to be at this particular place at this particular time. We should meet up. And then there is a physical opportunity presented there. Could be that they're trying to rein themselves in from something like that. This could be you trying to rein yourself in, because I do see this idea of potentially wanting to work on it still here in the background. I have the Ace of Cups next, which is a new beginning in love and emotions. So this usually represents a new person coming into the picture. That's how you get to the third cup, when there's two cups to begin with, you and them, and now this new one comes in, and it could be your person communicating with that person and trying to hold themselves back from going after this new cup, and maybe they couldn't, and that's what killed it. And this could also be you trying to hold yourself back from the idea of maybe trying to refill the cup back up with them and start over at square one in terms of love and emotions. It might be that, because I have the Six of Cups next, which is Scorpio energy of the past. It's thinking about the past, reminiscing about the past, the good old days, the way things used to be between the two of you. It can represent a deep emotional connection, represent having history between the two of you. It can also, though, represent something from the past coming back up again or happening again, or even someone from the past making an appearance again. If that's the case, this would indicate that the new person that they brought in is someone that they already know. It doesn't necessarily mean someone from their past as in they used to be with that person romantically. It can just represent someone that there's some sort of a history with, that they've known for a period of time. Could be trying to rein themselves in from doing something about that. But this could also be you having, after the ending, you're going through this painful transition period and you're trying to leave it behind and move forward. But then this early stage plan you've got is probably hard and you're not sure how to make it through, and maybe even trying to hold yourself back from the idea of starting over with them and trying to go backwards back into the past. Make no mistake about it, this card is about moving into the future. You can't go back. Like, you can't go back. What was back there is already gone. Central to your energy, Virgo, we got the Four of Cups. This is Cancer energy. This is about not being fully emotionally happy and content with what you have right in front of you. So much so that you're daydreaming about this other cup, this other thing that you believe might lead you to your happiness and fulfillment. And even the person in the card is looking off the left side of the card, which is to the past. So they could be this could be you thinking about what you used to have, and maybe it would make me happy if I could get back to the past with them. It could be that. Could also be you contemplating making a love offer to them and just haven't done so, maybe out of fear of being rejected. It could even be that they have made a love offer to you and you haven't said yes, you haven't said no yet. It's just kind of been left hanging here in the air with nothing being done about it. That's another possibility. It could be that we had an ending already and this is them maybe communicating with you about trying to get past the obstacle, trying to get past the roadblock, but maybe running into Queen of Swords type, I'm going to cut you off because maybe your intuition's telling you something here. Could be any of those ways, so take it however it resonates for you. I'm going to clarify it, see if we can help narrow it down for you some here. What's going on with this? You too, huh? Well, oh my. I think these are out of order. Okay, thanks. Okay, yeah. Underlying this energy on the bottom of the deck, the Tower. This is the collapse of some important structure in your life. This is a foundation rocking event. This is a game changer. After this moment, nothing is the same anymore. It's all different. A lot of times, this will represent the collapse of the relationship. Sometimes it will even represent the collapse of a belief system that you have, like this mental model of the world you were operating from, where I believed this person was a certain way. Maybe I believed this was a really powerful connection here. Maybe this is changing your beliefs about the person, the relationship, yourself, love in general. Something is coming apart here. And it's probably not pleasant to deal with death as your first card. Behind the Tower is the Magician. This is the Master Manifester. This is probably your person's energy showing up here because their thoughts and their actions manifested the situation that I'm reading about that ended in catastrophe here. Yeah, they manifested a choice between lovers is what this looks like. And this is also probably looking to me like what you believed this connection was. Like, I've seen the Lovers repeatedly now. I've seen the Six of Cups. I've seen the High Priestess. This is looking an awful lot like what you believed this connection was has now started to shatter and started to crumble and fall apart here. And it's entirely based on what they've created, is what it looks like to me. When I clarify this Four of Cups, I get the Ace of Pentacles, Four of Wands, Seven of Swords, Nine of Swords, Four of Pentacles. The Ace of Pentacles is that physical, tangible opportunity presenting itself. We talked about that a little bit with this Page of Pentacles. This is the communications about this physical opportunity. Okay, I got to back up. Another thing that this Four of Cups can mean, besides you thinking about them and thinking about getting back with them, there are three cups in front of them, and the person's not happy with what's in front of them. So it could be that you're not happy that they brought another person into this connection and created a third-party situation, and now I can't get that other person that they brought in out of my head. It could be that. Thinking about that a lot and feeling that, and then this opportunity here is core to whatever that's about for you. Then I got Four of Wands. This could also be you thinking about them and hoping for a new physical opportunity to restabilize everything. Fours are stability. This is Aries energy of stability of the home, stability of the family, stability of the connection between the two of you. Again, the Four Wands represent 1111, which is the number of manifesting. So this is like something has been manifested. We're not waiting on it anymore. It's arrived. It's here. This new opportunity could have arrived during a time when when you thought everything was stable and felt that it was stable. And here, the way it's laying next to Strength could be telling me that you're having a difficult time because I thought it was stable. I believed it was stable. And now that's been shattered. Could even be struggling because the stability is behind you now. Next, I have the Seven of Swords, which is Aquarius energy. This is usually lying, cheating, stealing, deception, sneaking around behind someone's back, trying to get away with something. That's probably what was going on here. They're looking over their shoulder as they sneak away, and what they're sneaking toward is this new cup of love over here. Looking like during a time when you probably believed things were stable. Next, I got the Nine of Swords. This is Gemini energy of fear, worry, and anxiety. It's thinking about something a lot with all this fear and worry behind your thinking, and doing that to the point that it becomes like physically stressful. This is mental anguish, sleepless nights. I can't concentrate on what I'm doing. I can't eat. The person has their eyes covered because in their mind, they've got the situation represented as being so bad that they don't want to face it. They don't want to look at it. Worrying about something, like to the point of it being stressful. And notice the past is right behind this person. Like the past is behind. The overall energy is moving away from something and painful and leaving it in the past and moving into the future. It looks like you might be having a little bit of difficulty in doing that here. And it might even be that you do okay for a while, but then they communicate with you and then it like locks the brakes up again. Even though like you can see clearly that this needs severed and You need to stand in your power here. Well, I got the Four of Pentacles as the final clarifier for this Four of Cups. I've got the Four of Cups, the Four of Wands, and the Four of Pentacles out here in your center column. Again, fours are stability. So stability seems to be the central theme for you. Like worrying about stability, looking for an opportunity for stability. Probably not being able to get the sneaky lies and deception out of your head. Four of Pentacles is a Capricorn energy of holding on tightly to something and not wanting to let go of it. So again, this could be, it's like diagonal to the past here. There's nothing to go with it. I read these in columns, but then I connect it in rows as I go along, and this has nothing in the row with it so far. It's just holding on to something that's got nothing with it. There's like, this is almost like holding on to false hope or holding on to nothing, that it's not really what you think you're holding on to. I would hope you're not holding on to the mental anguish and the grinding on something and thinking about it with all that intensity and it being a nightmare. Like, don't hold on to that. Final card for you, the Devil. This is Capricorn's major arcana card. This is a heavy toxic energy. This is obsession with something, addiction to something, a feeling of being trapped by something, feeling like I can't escape from it, feeling like something has control over me and I don't have any control over it, like being at something's mercy. This is the Fool on the card. He's in the cage that the Devil has, and there's chains connected to the cage, but not him. And the cage door is wide open and he could leave anytime he wants, but he doesn't know that because he's too afraid to face the situation he's in. He doesn't want to see it. He doesn't want to look at it. And he's got his eyes buried in his arm because, again, he's afraid to look at it, doesn't want to face it. But that's exactly what keeps him stuck in the cage, because he could just leave anytime he wants and he doesn't know. This is often a case of someone getting hurt, and then instead of addressing the actual underlying issue, they just kind of like sweep it under the rug and repress it and push it down and pretend like it didn't happen and pretend like everything's fine. I'm fine. And they just try to move forward. But that is the definition of carrying the burden forward with you, because something like this doesn't just go away. It has to be addressed. It has to be faced, and it has to have something done with it. It has to be healed. And if you try to move on pretending like it's okay when it's not, this is going to fester up and it's going to create negative things in your life. It's going to turn into like unconscious patterns that you run that you may not even realize you're doing, that are going to lead you down the wrong path. I hope that isn't what you're holding on to. Like this, I need to clarify that and see what this is telling me. A lot of times this will come from the other person because they had this themselves to begin with and they didn't do the work. And then when they got with you, they still behaved in this kind of a way. And now you've got this all over you because you were interconnected with them. That's why the Lovers kept coming out. The Lovers and the Devil are very connected together. In a standard tarot deck like this one, the Lovers are the same two people on the card as the Devil in this type of a deck. And they're also connected because the Devil's card 15, and in numerology, you take 1 and 5 and you add it together to become 6. Lovers is card 6 of the major arcana. So they're connected not only visually, but with the numerology aspect of it too. And it's about the interconnectedness. You know, you can't be in a relationship with a person that has toxicity in them and all over them without getting that all over yourself in the process. So whatever work that they didn't do on themselves has now become work that you might need to do on yourself because of them. And see, I've got this moving away from something painful and an energy of, yes, breakup, but sometimes being made to feel like you're not good enough for some reason, feeling flawed. And Tower still staring at me on the bottom. What's going on with this Devil? Why is this here in Virgo's energy, please? Why is the Devil here? Let's see how everything is trying to get away from me all at once. Like there's a lot in here. There's a lot under the surface for you that I don't think has been fully addressed yet. And it looks like I know what it's about. Yeah. On the bottom of the deck, the Tower again. You have not processed something painful from the collapse of maybe not just the relationship itself, but the collapse of the belief system you were operating from. I haven't seen the High Priestess here and having this pull and maybe feeling like this is a very powerful, like spiritual type of a connection. I've seen the Lovers a handful of times. The Lovers is still staring at me in your person's energy. Entirely possible that you mistook some feelings that you were having and misinterpreted that to apply a whole lot of extra weight to the connection and extra importance and meaning to the connection. And now that all this has happened, it's starting to shatter that belief for you. This is looking like having a problem of letting go of it and maybe being somewhat obsessed by it or feeling like I can't escape from it because it's got so much pull, but you're having a trouble processing the ending of it. Yeah, there's the Lovers again. How can it collapse if they're my soulmate? It's almost like believing that this person is the one for me. And now that they've done this, what am I supposed to do? My plan is shot now. How can I recover from this if they were the only one I could be happy with? And that's the first mistake you have to correct right there. It's like there is no such thing as like a twin flame. Like that's a complete bullshit story. It was made up in 1974 by a literal doomsday cult leader. I promise you, I wrote an 800 plus page book on it and then 2 additional books that are around 400 pages each about twin flames. I can tell you one thing with absolute certainty. It's all made up. It's not real. And this looks like someone has probably convinced themselves that that's what has happened here, that this is my twin flame or it's my soulmate or my divine counterpart. Like even that term is so misused. It was hijacked by the twin flame zealots. It's divine counterpart is not you and some other human being. It's not the other half of your soul or the only person that you're supposed to be with. That's not what divine counterpart has ever meant. Divine counterpart is the counterpart to your soul. Divine, like divine literally means of God. So divine counterpart for you is God. Divine counterpart for me is God. Divine counterpart for every soul in existence is God, the creator, the universe, source, spirit, however you personally view it. That's the divine counterpart. The divine connection is your connection to that, not your connection to some other human being. And it's like trying to reduce all of the divine energy down onto another human being is like, it's very like immature is the only word I can use for it. It's like so immature of an understanding of the concept that it's almost laughable to reduce divine down to like my boyfriend. Like I see so many people use that term divine masculine and they leave that in the comments like, yeah, my divine masculine cheated on me. Like what is divine about that? What divine masculine would be how God intended masculine energy to be when he created it. The fact that he cheated on you is proof positive that he's not divine. He's distorted. So I'm sorry I'm getting off on the side tangent, but that's important for someone to understand because what they have pigeonholed this relationship into, it's not real for them. And they're having trouble understanding that and letting go of that. And that's why they're in the painful spot that they're in now. And going forward into the future, still having that belief and resisting the collapse of that belief. It's collapsing because that belief's in your way and it needs to go. And if you carry it forward with you anyway, or even the burdens of like, of that, it's like, you're not going to get where you want to get. You're just going to stay wrapped up. Now, when I clarify the devil, I get death again, judgment, and the King of Swords. Death, we've already seen it. It was your very first card in your energy here. The most important card for you. The ending. Some painful transition period following the ending, some painful transformation following the ending. I know it sucks going through it, but you will come out on the other side better for having gone through it. It's just the process of going through it is no fun. Your alternative is to stay in the cage, which, yeah, you might think that helps you avoid the pain, but it doesn't. It keeps you trapped in the pain, and then you're never going to be able to get out. This connection has died, and there's still some remnants left over for you. This is like if a hand grenade has blown up and now you've got a piece of shrapnel in your thigh. Yes, it's going to be painful to dig that out and sew your leg up. So you can't just sew your leg up without removing the shrapnel. And this is like the emotional equivalent of that. It would be like something's going to get festered up. It's going to get infected. You're going to get gangrene. It's not going to just go away and become fine. It's going to get worse if you don't process the ending of it and accept that. I get this card a lot for somebody when something new is trying to come into their life and it doesn't have room to fit because the spot the new thing belongs in is already occupied by something that's in fact dead, and they just haven't released it and let it fall away yet. And that's what's happening here, because right behind death, right connected to it, is the new opportunity for you. And right behind that is the communications and the planning for that new opportunity. But that can't happen until the death of this occurs and until you free yourself from this cage of belief that you're stuck in. And then I've got Judgment as the next clarifier. This is a most powerful decision card in the deck. And I said right at the beginning, there is an implied choice in this energy. And the choice is, do I carry the burden that this painful thing caused into my future with me so it continues to weigh me down and hold me back and get in my way? Or do I carry forward the lesson I learned from this painful thing forward with me so that it doesn't happen again? And this is that choice. This is either a choice for A, to call this dead and over with, and there's no coming back from it, accept the ending of it, or this is about the choice to continue carrying the burden with you and trying to resurrect it, trying to restabilize it, struggling to get through the difficulty of the ending of it and the lack of stability, the stability being behind you. This is a case where you can choose to be in denial about the ending, or you can choose to try to grab these artificial beliefs like twin flames, for example, and wrap that around your relationship in an attempt to make it more important and, spiritual, or whatever you're doing with that, like wrapping these other beliefs around it to try to boost how important it is actually getting in your way. King of Swords is your final clarifier. This is either Aquarius or Gemini energy. This is a very smart, logical, rational, thinking mind, kind of a decision maker. It's also a person who throws their emotions out the window when they make their decisions. This is someone who's not interested in the emotions of things. They're interested in the truth and the facts of the matter and what can I see right in front of me and what can I verify to be actually true. It's about disconnecting from the emotions and looking at the facts when you make your decisions. And it's tied. It's a decision-making energy tied to the most powerful decision card in the deck. And what's right beside the King of Swords? Seven of Swords. That's the facts. There was lying and cheating and deception and sneaking around, and there was another person involved. I got Queen of Swords and King of Swords on the table now. They build the 10 of Swords, the ending. They're two people that used to be together. And that seems to be like the truth and the facts of the matter. And it's just, I'm not saying that you're trying to artificially import all this fake twin flame stuff into your relationship. I'm not saying that you specifically are doing that. Someone watching this is doing it. Probably a certain segment of the someone's watching it is doing that. Some people are just holding on to it and don't want it to be over. But either way, it's that's massively in your way right now, because that's making an emotional decision based on nostalgia And this preconceived, like idealized view of the connection that you had before, it's not accepting the fact that that was an incorrect assumption. It was an incorrect projection of your wants onto this external thing. And now it's like you can either face that and deal with releasing it and moving forward, or you can stay stuck in it. And that's what it looks like. Scoot this over and get a little bit more room. I'm not meaning for this whatsoever to sound like a lecture. I don't want it to sound that way, and I'm hoping that it's not. I'm hoping that you're taking everything I'm saying as like the advice that's coming through, because that's what it is. When I look at your person's energy, the first card in their energy is the most important. Page of Cups, central to their energy, Two of Wands. And their final card came out as 2. We got the Lovers and the 8 of Wands. Got a lot of passion, desire energy out there. Got some lovey-dovey communication energy. That's what this Page of Cups is. News, messages, communications about love and emotions, flirtatious behavior, lovey-dovey messages, expressing feelings. Let's see what's going on with that, please. Why is this Page of Cups first card Virgo's person? Oh, hey, come back here. Okay. On the bottom of the deck, underlying that energy, 8 of Pentacles. There's that Virgo energy of putting in the work, putting in the time, effort, and energy on something to get what you want, or being willing to do that. Looks like what your person's putting in the work in on is talking to somebody else all flirtatiously. Now, this could be an apology even, and I want to work on it. Like I said toward the beginning, it could be that you were doing all right until they started communicating with you, and now it's kind of thrown the wrench in the system here. I got 5 of Cups right behind it. Scorpio energy, sadness and remorse about the past, regrets, guilty feelings, focused on the loss of something, but meanwhile there's this other connection still looming in the background. Ace of Swords, there's the severing, there's the truth in the background. This also can represent a sword that you would communicate with, but this is feeling more like truth in the background, and then there's a heavy burden tied to that. This is Sagittarius energy. 10 of Wands is a heavy burden being carried. It's something weighing them down, holding them back. It's a 10. And in tarot, 10s are completions. This is supposed to be the completion of them carrying the heavy burden. It's supposed to be the spot where they lay the burden down and move forward without it, which again goes back to the overall energy here. The implied choice is, do I carry the burden that painful thing caused into my future so it keeps weighing me down? Or do I carry the lesson forward instead so that it doesn't happen again? Well, underlying their energy here is not the correct focus in trying to carry the burden forward. When I clarify Page of Cups, 5 of Wands, King of Pentacles, Ace of Wands, 7 of Pentacles. 5 of Wands is Leo energy. 5s are conflict. Not the first conflict. I've seen the 5 of Cups twice. I've got the 5 of Pentacles here. We've had to reference the 5 of Swords, even though it's not on the table. I know it's already happened because we're at the 6 here in the overall energy. This is a conflict in desires. In other words, a piece of them wants this thing and another piece of them wants pretty much the opposite of that. And now they're torn. They're internally conflicted about what is it I actually want. They're playing tug of war in terms of what they want. It's like scattered energy here. And it's related to some sort of a communication. Yeah, it's definitely related to that. That's what seems to have hung everything up for you. I think that's some more truth that's supposed to be coming out for you. I think your intuition has probably told you all along what's really going on, but like I said, most of the time we don't want to hear what our intuition is trying to tell us because it doesn't match this idealized view that we have of something. Next clarifier, King of Pentacles. That was 3 cards deep in the overall energy. This is Virgo or Taurus energy. This is like husband type energy, person I'm building my life around, or that's trying to build a life around me, but this person has an internal conflict tied to the idea of being husband or husband material or person that's building a life with you. Their internal conflict stems from lovey-dovey flirtatious communications and this Ace of Wands, which is a new beginning and passion and desire. Passionate new beginning. This is the phallic symbol of the tarot deck. It represents the male you-know-what and using it to do you-know-what and sexual energy and passion, desire, and all that jazz. And it's tied directly to this person. And then I got Seven of Pentacles, Taurus energy. This is a period of time for one of two reasons. Either it's a period of time where they're pausing to reflect and take stock of this connection between the two of you, take stock of the situation here, and trying to decide, is this ever going to grow into the 10 Pentacles that I really want? Is this worth me continuing to invest my time, effort, and energy into it? Or is this not ever going to pan out the way I want? And maybe I should cut my losses and move on. So it can be the period of time where they're contemplating that kind of stuff and maybe they're internally conflicted about it. But either, whether it's that or not, it's still coming up after this spark of interest and desire. It's coming up after these kind of flirty communications here. This can also represent a period of time for a different reason. It can be like, think about if you go plant an apple seed in your yard right now, you're not going to wake up tomorrow morning and get apples. There's a lag time from when the seeds get planted on something until it's fully grown and blossomed and ripened, and then you can harvest it and get some reward off of it. This can represent that period of time. There's communications happening. There's a spark of interest and passion and desire. And maybe there's a period of time where things aren't really kind of moving and they're just doing a bunch of talking and not able to actually go yet for some reason. Maybe because the connection hadn't been severed yet. I think at this stage, as soon as something started being off, I think your intuition probably clued you in about it. Central for your person's energy, Virgo, we got the Two of Wands. This is Aries energy. This is a fork in the road. It's a crossroads in their life, a crossroads in this connection. It's a decision point, and it's a decision about what is it I really want from my life and which of these two paths is going to get me to what I want. But you can't turn left and right at the same time. And it's not just a choice about which path am I going to go down. It's also about which path am I going to leave behind in order to get what I want. So let's clarify this Two of Wands, please. Why is the Two of Wands? You two? Okay. Holy crap. Underlying this choice they have, the Magician, Mac Daddy Master Manifester. This is them, and their thoughts and their actions and the path that they chose have created the situation I'm reading about right now. And then even though they created the situation, there's the defensiveness. There's the Leo Seven of Wands defending their position, defending their stance. No, I didn't do it. It's not me. Three of Wands. And meanwhile, they're waiting on something. Okay, I've got the full story of manifesting right here. I'm clarifying the Two of Wands. I've got the Three of Wands, and then the Four of Wands is over here already in your energy. That is the story of manifesting. In the Two of Wands, you literally decide, what is it I want to create for my life? What do I want my life to be like? And in the Three of Wands, you choose the path and you start taking steps down the path. You've already taken the steps at this stage. And you're expecting that the thing you want's going to happen. It just hasn't shown up yet. So I'm still waiting on it to actually appear here. And in the Four of Wands, notice they're celebrating the arrival of it. The 1111 is here. The thing has been manifested. It's stable in physical reality. We got the Master Manifester there. So this person has created the situation for certain that brought the Tower down. That's the very next card. They have changed everything based on the choice that they made. And their choice, notice it wasn't the Two of Cups. It wasn't an emotional choice. It's a wand, desire, passion, sexual energy kind of a choice. And when I clarify that, I get the Lovers again, the Queen of Wands, the Chariot, and the Nine of Wands. Notice how much fire we got down the center of that, how much passion there is. 2 fire cards here. One of the 2 last cards is a fire card. The Lovers, again, it's a powerful connection, probably in terms of how you're viewing it. But this also represents the interconnectedness between the 2 people here. So they can't make these types of choices without it affecting you. And it very clearly did, because it ended things. And I don't know that you have moved on from that yet, or healed from that yet. This also represents a choice between lovers. And the internal conflict, because part of them wants you and part of them wants that other person. Next, I have the Queen of Wands, which is an Aries energy. This is a bold, passionate, fiery, determined person that knows exactly what she wants, and she goes after it, and she doesn't take no for an answer. It doesn't have to be describing what sign the person is, but this is the fire element queen. In other words, the hot queen. This card shows up a lot for me. I'd say like 9 out of 10 times. It's talking about the other woman, the woman that there is the passion for, the attraction, the desire for, the sexual energy with. That's where the choice between lovers is coming in. And it's right here beside your person. And if I was going to see the queen that would represent you, Virgo, I would expect to see Queen of Pentacles, because you're an earth sign. That would be the earth queen. And beside your person is the fire queen instead. Like, they had to choose, what do I want? Which of these 2 lovers do I want? And the choice was made based on desire and passion and stuff like that. I've got the Chariot next, which is Cancer's major arcana card. This is the fastest moving energy in the deck. Very fast movement. It's also about like trying to overcome the obstacles and the stuff that's in my way through willpower, and just get past it through willpower and move forward successfully. There is an imbalance here, though. There's a conflict here. We've got the dark side and the light side, the shadow side and the light side, 2 different parts of a person. And the driver has no reins, so it's willpower alone that steers this and controls it. And if the dark side of someone isn't pulling in the same direction as the light side, if he's not in alignment, this thing ain't going anywhere, and it's every bit as stuck as the Hanged Man. Or worse yet, it will rip itself in half as it tries to move forward. There's definitely an imbalance here. And I think their shadow side is pulling them toward the passion and desire route and not the love and emotions route. This is sometimes also an energy of let's just get the hell out of Dodge, like pronto. It's laying right beside this Ace of Wands, this spark of some new passionate thing, passionate new connection. That could be the obstacle. That could be them just like, yes, I got this, let's go. And it could have been brewing up for a while. It could have been happening for a period of time and just waiting on things to pan out just the right way. I did see them trying to manifest it in defensiveness and fighting to get what they want while they're waiting on something. And then suddenly the waiting is over and crash. Yeah, and right behind that is the Merchant giving to 2 different people in the physical sense. And behind that is this idea of re-blending back together, like getting it back to being just right. Reconciliation. Water represents love in tarot, and here the love has been separated into 2 different cups, and this is being recombined back together. That doesn't mean that that's what's going to happen. That idea is lurking way deep below the surface over here. Probably because that's your energy showing up in the background. Like the tower has collapsed because they were giving to 2 people and they were blending themselves together with someone new to make something new. But this is again looking like I don't want the collapse of this. What I want is to rebalance this, like to balance it back out, to recalibrate it and to get reconciliation. And there's even the hope in the background for that. But behind that is the Fool. sometimes, yeah, let's take a blind leap of faith. Screw it. We'll figure out how to heal on the way, but that's a bad idea. This is also sometimes foolish behavior, foolish decision making, like not thinking it through, leaping before you look. And behind that is the Two of Swords and the Knight of Swords. And that is connected too. I know this is on their side, but this is a message for you. All of this was describing what they did all the way up to the tower. And then everything past that has been feeling like what you need to hear. The Two of Swords is a decision that needs to be made, and it hasn't been made yet. Now, the person on the card is blindfolded, and that could mean I don't have enough information to make my decision. But I would beg to differ, because your intuition has told you what you needed to know. I've got you uncovering truth and facts and information here. I've got she who knows the truth here. And I have the king of that suit, the King of Swords here, sitting right beside the stuff he knows about. Lying, deception, sneaking around, cheating, new cup of love being involved. You know. So this isn't you missing information and that's why you're not deciding. This is blinders. This is like, I don't want that to be true. I don't want to see that. I don't want to look at that. I've got that here where you're covering your eyes because you're afraid it's true and I don't want to see it. I've got it here where I could free myself, but I can't see that I can free myself because I'm afraid to face the situation. I don't want to see it. I've got that all over the place here now. This would be like being in denial, and that's keeping you from making a decision that you need to make. And Knight of Swords, like, this is rushing forward and taking this decisive action that I didn't think through first. This is just doing it and not thinking about it until afterwards. It's impulsive energy. So is the Fool. This would be like, dude, if you continue on this path of thinking that I can balance this back out and thinking that we can get reconciliation and make this all right again and hoping that we can heal it, what this is looking like to me is that is a very poorly thought out idea. This is feeling much more like pathological hope than actual hope. And the difference is, like, sometimes holding on to hope is the only thing that gets a person through, and they just needed to maintain hope long enough for the thing to happen. Pathological hope is when it's like, it's got a snowball's chance in hell of happening. It's not going to happen, but you maintain the hope anyway, even though there is zero sign that this is going to work out the way you want. And it's like holding on to hope becomes a detriment to you then. It becomes the thing that keeps you trapped it becomes the cage that you're in. And there's a difference between actual hope and refusing to look at the truth and the facts, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Sometimes the truth and the facts dictate that there is no hope left. And refusing to accept that is more denial than anything else. And even behind all of that is the Ten of Cups, which is that happy fairy tale ending that we all dream about, that happy fairy tale love connection that we all dream about. But you know what? This card gets more people in trouble than any card in the tarot deck, because very rarely is it actually talking about that we're pouring ourselves into each other equally and we're both fully loved and fully appreciated, and this is like the happily ever after I've always wanted. Very rarely is it actually talking about that. What it's usually talking about is someone having that idealized view of the relationship. In other words, like, think about how much money's in your bank account right now versus how much do you wish was in your bank account right now. Probably very dramatically different numbers, right? Well, it would be what would happen in your life if you started acting as if that amount of money was really in your bank account. You would get yourself into some deep shit, right? And this is the emotional equivalent of doing that. It's looking at the relationship through an idealized lens. It's like looking at it for how I want it to be, not for how it actually is. And then acting as if it is the way I want it to be when it's not. And that's going to get you into some deep shit emotionally too. That's why this card gets so many people into trouble. It's what causes us to sweep things under the rug and ignore red flags and ignore all the stuff that's happened and not look at the truth and not face the facts of the matter. Because if any of that stuff's true, then this can't be true. All these important ideas that I've imported and wrapped around my relationship, trying to emphasize the significance of it and make it powerful, that's working to your detriment. It's not helping you. That's right behind it is the Three of Swords. Heartbreak and sadness from a third energy. The third energy is right smack in the center of their energy. This Queen of Wands, the lovers, the Ace of Wands. Got the Ace of Cups over here, the physical opportunity, the lying, sneaking around. Those are the facts of the matter. Yeah, see, here's the other connection in the background. And here's them moving forward in that. I'm still clarifying the Two of Wands. And here's the Two of Wands again. They've already made their choice. They've chosen what path they're going down. And then there's the Moon. Yeah, it was kept secret. It was hidden from you. It was probably very deceptive and shady. But this could also just as easily represent the fact that you still aren't seeing what you need to see in order to release it. The final card to clarify that Two of Wands is the Nine of Wands. This is Sagittarius energy of being walled off and defensive. This is also a healing energy. This is the wounded warrior, and he's built this wall around himself. It's like a defense mechanism. It's his way of trying to protect himself so he doesn't get hurt, so he can heal, so he can move forward. Sometimes this just represents that there is a wall in the way and there is something that needs overcome, and that's what it is. It could totally represent that. It looks like the thing that was in the way was a period of time of waiting for something to pan out. Maybe so they could scoot and just move on down the road. The final card in your person's energy came out as two. We got the Lovers and the Eight of Wands. We've already seen the Lovers several different times here. Yes, can be a powerful connection, but it represents the interconnectedness between the two of you, and they've made choices that have affected you. It represents a choice about your connection. It represents a choice between lovers. It could even represent that they found this Queen of Wands person that they think is hot and attractive and sexy and all that, and they have pinned that powerful connection onto them. Happening really fast, whatever it is. This is the second fastest energy in the deck. The only thing faster is this Chariot that was in their the middle column for them. This is very fast, forward-moving energy, rapid back and forth, passionate communications, can be travel. This can just be a lot of progress and movement all at one time. This can even be so much happening so fast all at once that it's hard to process it. That's tied directly to this idea of choice between lovers. Could be that something got sparked up in a communication with this person and boom, things just took off like gangbusters from there. Probably because they already have some history with this person. It doesn't feel like brand new person that they just met for the first time. It feels like someone they already know on some level. Maybe somebody they work with. Maybe somebody that they're friends with or used to be friends with, or maybe just bumped into each other and haven't seen each other for a while. Who knows? Take that how it resonates for you. Let's take a look at the Lovers and the Eight of Wands. Why is that here in Virgo's person's energy? On the bottom of the deck, Ten of Swords. Well, that really fast forward movement, all the passionate communicating in that other connection is what put this to an end with you. This is Gemini energy of a swift, painful ending, an ending you don't see coming, an ending in betrayal. No matter how you slice this, it's an ending. Ten of Wands. There's the Sagittarius heavy burden being carried. It's supposed to be the spot where the burden gets laid down, but someone's not laying the burden down. I think this has got dual meanings here. Like there's the ability to cut it away. There's the truth. I think they're carrying forward a burden because of what they did. and they haven't learned their lesson. They've probably done something like this before, if not to you, to someone else, and they're carrying that into their future. They're not taking the lesson forward with them. They're taking the burden forward with them. And this could also be the ending of this is a very heavy burden on you because you still haven't processed it yet. And this could be you still carrying the burden into your future with you when you have the ability to make a different decision and to sever this and to cut this burden away. Five of Cups is in the background. They might still have some sadness and regrets about what they did. I feel like your focus is not on yourself and on your healing and on releasing. I feel like your focus is still on them on some level, and that is also working to your detriment. Like the solution to how you feel does not lie externally to you. It lies internally to you. It's your focus is, if your focus is directed outward at them, you're focused in the wrong place. You should be focused inward right now. That's how you heal. That's how you, where all this stuff is inside of you right now. It's in your thinking. It's in the beliefs. It's in the emotions that you're experiencing based on where your focus is being placed and what thoughts that causes. And those thoughts lead to the emotions, and the emotions decide what actions you're willing to take or not take. And that consecutive actions being taken create your habits, and your habits create your destiny. The moments of your decisions determine where you ultimately end up and how you end up in that place, like how you feel, what state you're in. And this is like you're focusing in the wrong spot, and that's part of what you don't see. It's not about them at this stage. It's about you at this stage. Sure, they lied and cheated and snuck around and did a bunch of stuff they weren't supposed to be doing, but it's still not about them anymore. It's about you. You got dealt a shitty hand, and this is about figuring out how to play that hand, figuring out how do I get my state back under control? How do I wrap myself around this in a way that I can now accept that it's over and what I believed about it up until this point was incorrect, and forgiving yourself for making a mistake on that. It's like none of us are perfect. This is about you healing and releasing this so that you can move into your future not carrying their burden, or not carrying the burden that you've made up in your own mind with importing the false beliefs into a connection to try to make it more significant for yourself when it wasn't. Those are the types of things you need to look at. Like, why did I do that? Why did I need it to be more significant? There's something there for you. I don't know exactly what it is, but there is definitely something inside you that you could shift your focus to and start looking for the truth about you instead of the truth about them. Stop looking for communications from them and look for the communications from yourself, because the devil, like, success leaves clues, and so does the devil. So you can track it down if you're looking inside yourself the right way. Now, when I clarify this idea of a really fast moving new connection showing up, impacting not just them, but you and their choice about what they're going to do here and the new path that they're going to go down. And I get the Six of Wands, Page of Wands, and the Devil again. So we got a whole buttload of passion and desire all over your person's energy. And meanwhile, the only wand card in your energy is the stability of home and family and connection. I have no doubt where the devil came from the whole time. And now here, very last clarifier being the devil, it just validates that for me. This Six of Wands is Leo energy of recognition. This is either them getting recognized for something, like having another lover. It's connected both directions over here. passionate communications, lovey-dovey communications. They could have got recognized for that. In other words, you found it and you saw the truth of it at some point. That could be what led to the severing. Or this is them coming to some sort of a recognition on their own about the connection and their internal conflict within it. And whatever it is that got recognized, forward movement happened after that into the future. And I keep getting references to that, like either going into the future or trying to get back to the past. And that's the wrong direction. Page of Wands. This is news and messages and communications about passion and desire, expressing interest, expressing desire, talking about what I want, having the willingness to take the very first steps down a brand new path toward this thing I have passion and desire for. I got 2 forward moving, passion driven energies, 3 in a row, actually. And the thing that they're moving forward with is sitting right beside Queen of Wands, this hot queen, this person there's attraction and desire for, and the person that's doing all that is this person. It's all very clear. Even he's tied to his own wand here. And the final clarifier being the devil is, again, heavy toxic energy. Notice, same 2 people from the Lover's card. I mentioned it before, but now I can actually show it to you. Except here they got chains on their neck. They're not here because they want to be here. They're here because they can't escape. Or at least they think they can't escape, just like this person thinks they can't escape on this devil card. But the loops around their neck, they could just pull that right off and leave whenever they want. And I think your person realized that. And as soon as the opportunity arrived and it was harvestable, for lack of a better way of putting it, they were out. See ya. There was toxicity in this person. There was toxicity in the connection. When you're chained in a connection with somebody and they have all this toxic stuff inside them and all over them, it's impossible to be in that without the distortion affecting you, without it's you getting toxic all over you and inside you. There's definitely an elements here of illusion. There's elements of something presenting itself to be so that it looked like everything you ever wanted, only it was a facade. It wasn't real. This is not a pleasant energy. Your person's got deep-seated stuff. And see, again, there's another reference to, like, I'm not leaving the burden behind me and moving forward. I'm carrying the burden with me. Like, this person has the burden inside them. The thing that's the thing they need to overcome. The thing that's in their way is their unhealthy lust or their unhealthy, like, passion, desire type of drive. Unhealthy level of following their wand or being obsessed with passion, desire, sexual energy kind of stuff there. That's the thing that they need to be overcoming. But then there's a period of time here, like on your side, the only thing that had nothing to go with it is this 4 of Pentacles, like holding on to something and not wanting to let go. It's actually got another incomplete row above it. The past is behind me and now I'm fearful and worried and anxious and stressed about that. And I don't want to face what's in front of me now. What's in front of me now is an empty void. And I just want to hold on to the past and not let go of it. And on their side, the thing that has no complete row is about a period of time where I'm waiting on something to fully develop. And a wall still being in the way, a roadblock still being in the way and not being able to get anywhere, which is why we've got the Hanged Man out here. And she who knows the truth. See, I think that you got this kind of a conflict going on between your head and your heart, between logic and reason and common sense versus some spiritual thing, whether that's your intuition or some mumbo jumbo you read from some supposed twin flame expert that's like listed off a couple of very basic, very common relationship things and convinced you that that means the person's your twin flame with that bullshit. And it's like, no, that's not what's really happening. There's a conflict between facts and fantasy, between, like, look, I'm in the spiritual niche here. Like, I'm a tarot reader. I have tons of crystals. I have a metaphysical store. It's like I'm deep into the spirituality stuff. But that doesn't mean everything you hear about spiritual stuff is actually true and that it's actually spiritual, and it's not just some bullshit that somebody made up because it sounded good or because they were trying to rationalize their own stuff. There is something called spiritual bypassing, which is where you're using some sort of a spiritual thing as a way to avoid dealing with something that needs dealt with. It's a way to like avoid processing. Like the whole twin flame narrative is a form of spiritual bypassing. It's like they can't accept the fact that the person doesn't want to be with them or that the person isn't a good fit for them. So they make up stuff like runner and chaser. And, they make up stuff like, well, he's my twin flame. That's why I can't quit thinking about him. And in reality, it's just a complete lack of understanding how to work your own mind and your emotions in that person's case. So like there's some element here of you needing to heal something that hasn't been healed. And I know for a certain segment of someone watching here, it's like they've wrapped all this spiritual duct tape around this connection, trying to make it feel like it's like more significant and powerful than it actually is. And it's simply just because they don't want to accept the ending of it. And this person has already gotten someone else and moved on.